Since Caitlin Clark has entered the league, the prevailing conversation around the WNBA has been drawing power.
Angel Reese once stood tall and said the reason people watch women's basketball is her. A fearless claim until reality hit like a full-court press. When she made her grand return to LSU wearing the Chicago Sky jersey, everyone expected Baton Rouge to explode with pride. The purple carpets, the flashing cameras, the roar of a homecoming queen. But what actually unfolded was something no one saw coming.
There's one thing that Angel Reese is not. Angel Reese is not a draw. If you haven't believed me before, this weekend further proved that point. Because the Bayou Barbie was officially rejected in the Bayou. Angel Reese was rejected at home.
That 13,000-seat arena, barely half alive, just 6,300 fans scattered like whispers in an echoing gym. And that's rounding up. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark had fans paying thousands, crashing ticket sites just to watch her warm up. Her preseason debut vanished in minutes, sold out faster than Reese's next tweet. The comparison, absolutely brutal. Photos from the LSU night tell a story Reese probably wishes could vanish aisles of empty seats. Tickets collecting dust, giveaways met with silence. Remember her promise about bringing eyes to the game. Turns out, most of those eyes were fixed somewhere else. If you ride for Caitlin, drop CC as the needle in the comments, because what's coming next is wild.
So embarrassing. Now, you're not going to hear this from the mainstream media, who continues to pretend that the Bayou Barbie is beloved. You're not going to hear this from the media, who continues to pretend that Angel Reese is a huge star.
Now, let's unravel why this LSU homecoming hit harder than one of Reese's missed layups. This wasn't supposed to be just another game, it was meant to be her moment. The triumphant return. The same court where she danced with that championship trophy, where fans once screamed her name like she was Baton Rouge royalty. This was meant to be her coronation, her walk through the gates as the hometown legend. But fate, it seems, had a different script.
The Chicago Sky go into LSU, the home court of Angel Reese. Man, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit.
Because instead of thunderous cheers, there was emptiness. The photos flooding social media tell a haunting story. Vast oceans of empty plastic chairs, entire sections untouched, silence echoing louder than any buzzer. The upper bowl never even opened. Why? Because the lower one never filled. For someone who claimed she was transforming the sport, the atmosphere felt less like a superstar's return and more like a forgotten rehearsal in a hollow gym.
Nobody showed up to this sucker. Nobody. Let me just blow this. Look at that. I noticed it right off the bat. Look, number one, look at all the purple seats down here in this lower bowl section. And then the entire top bowl, forget about it. Forget about it.
And here's where it gets painfully ironic. Tickets were practically free. Heavy discounts, bundles, even giveaways. You could snag a seat for $15 cheaper than a bucket of popcorn at the movies. Yet still, no one came. You could have thrown in selfies, autographs, maybe even dinner, and those seats would have stayed cold. The woman who once said she was the reason people care about women's basketball couldn't even fill half her own house. Let that sink in, because this, right here, was supposed to be her victory lap.
Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese are not the same. Both had their homecoming celebrations this weekend. One of them sold out in 27 minutes. The other one couldn't give away free tickets.
Alright, time to do the math literally. To hit even half capacity in that LSU arena, you'd need 6,670 fans. Angel couldn't even cross that line. She fell short by nearly 300 people. That's not a close miss, that's a complete error. And for someone who never stops talking about changing the game, pulling numbers smaller than a midweek karaoke night, well, that's not exactly the flex she thought it was. The scoreboard didn't lie, and neither did the seats.
In case you were wondering, I did do the math. How many seats were actually left last night? Over 6,800. In a 13,000 capacity arena, there was over 6,800 seats still available. And some people were saying, by the way, that literally there were some $15 tickets out there.
Even the broadcast team could feel it. Every camera angle seemed to zoom tighter, cutting away from the truth. Rows of emptiness. The shots were cropped closer than one of Reese's tickets. But here's the problem. You can't hide from social media. Fans started posting raw, unfiltered shots of the arena. Cold, empty, echoing like a forgotten gym. The silence was deafening. The pictures, even louder. Every seat told a story, and it wasn't one of stardom.
Look at all those empty seats, folks. That is crazy as hell. I mean, empty, all that. Never mind all this. They could have put black tarps over it. Look at that. Look at that. Look, the WNBA still got problems. They got problems over and beyond one player. I don't know what they do about it.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, one-off night, no big deal. But that's where the irony hits. Angel's been loud for months, claiming she's the reason women's basketball is booming, that she's the spark behind the surge. But numbers don't bend for anyone. Empty seats don't fabricate cheers. And silence doesn't fake applause. She can flood Instagram with highlight reels and hashtags, but those 6,300 fans in a 13,000-seat arena, that's the cold, undeniable truth. Reality just fact-checked the hype.
Brazilians sent their national team to Baton Rouge to open the WNBA preseason against the Chicago Bravado. The event was marketed as a homecoming for Angel Reese. The Bayou Barbie returns to the Bayou to be worshipped by her millions and millions of adoring fans.
This was supposed to be her fairy tale moment, a triumphant return, a queen back on her throne. Instead, it became a PR train wreck wrapped in awkward quiet. The very place that made her a household name didn't even bother showing up. Her loyal fan base vanished like a dropped signal. And here's the million-dollar question. If Angel Reese can't pack her own house, where exactly can she? Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was rewriting the script entirely, turning every game into an event. While Reese played to scattered applause, Clark's arena was a roaring storm. Her preseason crowd in Iowa wasn't just full, it was electric. You could feel the floor shake. Scalpers made bank. Fans were screaming her name, and the energy was pure chaos in the best way.
Finding affordable tickets for the Indiana Fever preseason game against Brazil at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Seats at the arena for the May 4th matchup between the Indiana Fever and Brazil were first offered to season ticket holders and a few top donors. It didn't take long for them to be gone.
And this is where things officially went cinematic. When tickets for Caitlin Clark's preseason debut at Carver Hawkeye Arena dropped, they didn't crawl towards sold out. They exploded. 27 minutes. That's all it took. Every single seat gone. Quicker than ordering a pizza. Faster than scrolling through regret. Fans refreshed screens like it was the Super Bowl meets a Taylor Swift tour. And remember, this was just preseason. The hype wasn't hype anymore. It was history in motion. The contrast couldn't scream louder. Angel's return felt like a reunion no one RSVP'd to, while Clark's preseason outing felt like a national celebration. One rookie's fighting to fill her own backyard, the others turning every stop into a sold-out spectacle. People aren't just watching Caitlin Clark, they're rearranging their lives to witness her.
The reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize.
Caitlin Clark has done what no one thought possible. She's turned preseason WNBA games into must-watch television. Every dribble, every shot, every arena she steps into feels like an event. Meanwhile, Angel Reese can't even get her old LSU crowd to care for one night. Sure, people will say it's timing, poor marketing, maybe bad weather. But let's be real, if she had that kind of pull, if her influence was truly what she claimed, fans would have been there. The fact that they weren't, that silence speaks louder than any press conference ever could.
Crowd was praising their Bayou Barbie. The chants of Angel Reese could be heard all the way in the third row. Problem is, I wouldn't exactly call it a crowd. Even calling it a small gathering might be inappropriate. Perhaps a more suitable description would be a family reunion.
And here's the thing, it's not just this one night. It's a pattern. Everywhere Caitlin Clark goes, the numbers explode. Ticket prices skyrocket. Jerseys vanish from stores. Social feeds ignite. She's not just changing how we watch women's basketball, she's changing who watches it. While Angel Reese is still talking about being the face of the game, Caitlin's out there proving it. Fans are dropping hundreds, no, thousands on resale tickets just to watch her play preseason games. Not championships, not playoffs, preseason. The basketball equivalent of a sound check, and people are treating it like a once-in-a-lifetime concert. That kind of demand. It doesn't come from hype, it comes from history being made in real time. Caitlin Clark isn't trending, she's transcending.
And here we have today, basically clapping back at all of that and proving that they know that they are the moment, they are the Showtime team, they are the biggest team currently in the WNBA. This kind of stuff is not only good for the Indiana Fever, it's good for the entire WNBA.
Now, let's flip the script to the other side. Angel Reese's preseason homecoming. It might as well have been a Groupon event. $15 tickets, and even that seemed like too much for most. You could have taken a date, grabbed snacks, and still spent less than one resale ticket for Caitlin Clark. And yet, the crowd still said, maybe next time. Imagine offering basketball's version of a dollar store deal and watching fans still stay home. Meanwhile, over in the Caitlin Clark universe, opposing teams are literally upgrading their arenas just to fit the crowds she brings. That's not promotion, that's an economic wave. She's not just a player, she's a walking business model. Wherever she goes, local vendors smile, and team accountants start celebrating early. Caitlin Clark doesn't just fill seats, she fills cities.
Now, what I also think is hilarious is that they took that a step further. So if you go to the team store, the Indiana Fever's team store, you will see that they have a brand new t-shirt that they are selling. And that t-shirt says, "Every game is a home game." And then on the back, it says, "Now you know," with a sold out banner with all of their basically schedule. It's like a tour t-shirt and it says every game is a home.
So with this massive gap, one side roaring, the other side yawning, the question practically asks itself, who's really putting butts in seats? The numbers don't lie. The sold-out arenas don't lie. The empty ones don't either. Every stat, every fan reaction, every photo points in one direction. Caitlin Clark, she's selling out arenas faster than Swifties crash ticket sites. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still struggling to fill half a building during her own tribute night. And before anyone blames college loyalty, let's shut that down now. Clark is packing arenas she's never played in before, places with no prior connection to her. These aren't just Iowa fans. These are basketball fans. People from everywhere are showing up, united just to see her play. And Angel, she couldn't even fill the gym that built her name. When your home crowd stops cheering, the message is loud and clear.
Family and friends of Angel Reese welcome the Bayou Barbie back to the Bayou. Pay very, very close attention to the so-called crowd. Roll the clip. This was her homecoming. This was supposed to be a night of celebration. It looked like an LSU home game in November of 2023, when Angel Reese was supposedly at the height of her drawing power. Thousands of empty seats.
Remember when Angel Reese took to social media with that viral proclamation? She didn't just imply her importance, she declared it, word for word. "People watch women's basketball because of me, too." No misquote, no spin, just pure confidence, a bold, public statement that she's one of the main forces driving viewership. Powerful words, but here's the problem. Words need proof. And right now, the proof, the seats, the tickets, the numbers are painting a very different picture.
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
Now the evidence is on the table. The hard, unfiltered numbers. Cold data doesn't lie. It doesn't spin. It just shows. And what it's showing from that LSU homecoming looks less like a celebration and more like a memorial service. The seats told the story before anyone could tweet it. If Angel Reese truly had that kind of pull, if she really moved the needle like she claimed, where were the fans? Because one thing's for sure, they weren't in those stands.
According to the mother of Angel Reese, who also refers to herself as Angel Reese, according to the original Angel, they are not celebrating her drawing power, mainly because it doesn't exist. They are celebrating championships. Mama Reese got on social media and clapped back at the haters, which in this case were Caitlin Clark fans who were pointing out the empty arena. According to Mama Reese, Caitlin and Angel are not the same. We celebrating championships over here.
And here's where it gets downright strange. Angel Reese has millions, yes, millions of followers across social media. Every post gets likes, shares, and endless comments. You'd think with all that online devotion, fans would flood the arena to see her play. Right, wrong. The silence inside that gym said it all. It's like her followers vanished the second the ball tipped off. Maybe people are more captivated by her fashion than her footwork. Let's be real, minus 6,300 fans isn't a headline number. It's a sleepy college turnout. For a self-proclaimed game changer, that's brutal. If those supposed new fans exist, they must have gotten lost or stayed home double-tapping her Instagram stories instead.
One of them packed 15,000 paid fans into the arena. The other couldn't fill the lower bowl.
At this point, the question practically asks itself, are we watching a basketball player or are we watching a brand? Because it's starting to look like Angel Reese might be better at creating content than creating crowds. Is she a star athlete or a viral personality who occasionally steps onto the court? because one fills arenas, the other fills time. And right now, it's pretty clear which one's winning.
But look at their career trajectory since then. Caitlin Clark is the only draw in the history of women's basketball. Angel Reese couldn't sell out home games at LSU, couldn't sell out home games in the WNBA in Chicago, can't fill half the arena for her homecoming celebration. Caitlin Clark doesn't beg for attention. Matter of fact, I would imagine that Caitlin Clark gets tired of the attention.
Her famous claim about bringing eyes to the game, completely torched by the sight of all those empty seats. You can't edit that out. You can't post your way past it. Silence that loud drowns out any amount of social media noise. The turnstiles didn't spin, and the hype didn't hold. Let's call it what it is. Angel Reese is starting to look more like an influencer who wears a jersey than a drawer who defines the sport. Sure, she's got endorsements, magazine covers, brand deals, but real fan energy, the kind you can hear, that was missing. The stands that once roared her name stayed quiet.
She does everything she can to keep her name in the headlines, yet for some reason, it doesn't translate to ticket sales, doesn't translate to television ratings. Angel Reese was the biggest star in Unrivaled. Hell, she was the only star in Unrivaled. No one was watching.
Now the mask is off, and no filter can hide it. The next big thing narrative is cracking loudly, and this isn't hate, it's reality. Because if you can't fill even half an arena in your own college town, the place that crowned you a champion, then maybe the hype train left the station without you. The fans already cast their vote, and they did it with their wallets, or rather, their absence. Caitlin Clark has crowds breaking websites just to grab seats. Angel Reese, $15 tickets collecting dust. The contrast isn't just clear, it's colossal. The truth about who's really growing the game has already been written in ticket sales and in silence. And if you're on Team Caitlin, drop CC as the needle down below. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications because this story is just getting started.